Hi guys, it's Floss and welcome back to another FlossTube video. In today's video, I'll be showing you what I've been up to for the last 6 weeks. So that will be from the start of September to now, which is almost mid-October. If you're interested in it, then keep watching. Not gonna lie, this is the third time I've tried to film this. The first time I didn't quite like what I said because I was really fumbling with words way too much. The second time it was a bit smoother than the first time, but then the dog started whining, and the moment Rocker starts, he's not gonna stop until something is addressed. So let's see how long we can get away with this time. Now today is 12th of October, the Saturday. It is a very, very sunny day in Melbourne. Unfortunately, our house is like most of the other houses in Australia, very poor insulation, and I'm cold all the time, so I'm just wearing a jacket. And what can I say? Now, I probably should address this very late update situation. It's because the last 6 weeks I really haven't done that much stitching, so I haven't got that much to show you. Well, to be fair, the whole September month I was just more focused on doing my CPD points for the pharmacy registration, or renewal really. So all the registered health professionals need to complete this annual CPD points, which is, I think, continuing professional development points, and each profession has, I think, different number of points that they have to complete every year. For pharmacists, it's 40 points, so I was just mainly focused on that. So yeah, because of it, the whole September I didn't really stitch much at all. But I just decided, nah, stuff it. I need to make a video. So here I am filming for the third time. And with all my videos, the cross-stitch update videos will be divided into different sections. So it will be haul first, and I will talk to you about my hobby budget, which is roughly about $50 a month. Sometimes I might tell you why it's more or it's less, and then it's the whip update, and then it's like stitching related plans, and then it will be life updates. So at which point, if you're not interested in what I'm telling you, you can just skip ahead. I also tend to include as much info as I can in the description box. So if you're interested in something that's in my video, most likely the information will be there, unless the project I'm stitching is like so readily available, or I mention it's from Amazon or somewhere, then I might not just include that because there's no point. There's no links really that might be helpful to you. So if this is the first time you're joining me, welcome. I'm Floss. I am a Chinese living in Australia. I came to Melbourne when I was 18, so when pretty much a few months after I turned to an adult. And here I do, I guess, somewhat unconventional things. I limit how much I spend on my hobby, and I also limit my whip numbers. And you probably won't see a lot of the very popular charts here, so I don't tend to want to join the majority of the stitching population in terms of what I stitch. So I won't say my taste is unique, but I'm very picky with what I stitch. And I guess that's all the intro. If you don't mind seeing something different, and you don't mind getting a fresh perspective in how to enjoy a hobby, then join us. Other than that, I'm just gonna go straight into it because I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to film this before the next wave of whining continues because they need to go out. Okay, so let's start the iPad and get my notes to see what I'm gonna tell you. Now let's talk about hobby budget and what I've got. So last time when I saw you, I had $88.62 in my hobby budget, and I got another $50 in September. And I did mention I was definitely picking up the scissor fob for JP, my hubby. And I did pick it up from Fiona from the monthly cross-stitch meetup. And it was $12, so it looks like this. It's just a greyhound scissor fob with some like little, is it natural stone? I don't know, or like beads. It's quite light. And yeah, Fiona just finalized a lot of things on her Facebook page. It's called Orts and Sorts. I'll of course leave the link down in the description box if you're interested. So she tends to sell a lot of fobs and it's zipper pulls, and everything's handmade. And yeah, there are like so many different designs you can choose from. So happy browsing. And after that, I also got some stuff from JK's Cross Stitch Supplies, which is a pretty cheap, mostly online store in Australia. So what happened was, every time I used the 𝓕𝓵 stand, my like right shoulder and the right side of my neck would really hurt for quite a few days. And it's been like that for forever. I think the two armchairs that I got just don't work with the 𝓕𝓵 stand setup very well, just because their armrests are all quite high. And because my project's quite big, so like the scroll bar is hitting on the armrest, so I can't get the project to be as close to me as possible. Then I just end up leaning forward and also like twist my shoulder in a weird way. So then because of it, I was tossing whether I should get the extender bar to see whether that would help. And then I decided, yeah, I'll just give it a go and see whether that would make the whole setup like more improved. Anyway, so yeah, I got the L bar. I think the bar you get from the most basic 𝓕𝓵 stand was probably just a little bit shorter, and this one extends a little bit more, and I think it's just under $70 because my setup is stainless steel. And yeah, so if you originally purchased stainless steel, everything like the accessories and whatnot needs to be stainless steel, otherwise they don't fit. So yeah, I got that, and I also got a couple of DMC thread colors for a project. And also I've got this 25 count Christmas red. What is it? It's 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓾 for the same project as well. This is a fat eighth, and I can't quite remember how much, but it's possible that it's like $7.50, like something quite cheap. So in terms of cross-stitch supplies, I find her 𝓕𝓵 stand related items are crazily affordable compared to most of the stores. So if you've got a 𝓕𝓵 stand, if you're thinking about buying one and you're in Australia, I highly recommend you checking out JK's Cross Stitch Supplies if you haven't already heard of her. She's like really famous in Australia anyway. just because of the affordability. And also her fabrics are quite cheap as well. In terms of sizes, she doesn't do custom size, so it's just the fixed sizes. And if you don't mind that, yeah, the pricing is really reasonable. And I guess that's it. And also I actually received 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓾𝓫 deluxe floor stand. So I got it, I think the start of the week. And I won't show you here because it's still in the packaging. I haven't even opened it. I do have planned to film a video and I'll, I guess, elaborate on that a bit later. And yeah, that's the end of the haul. Look at that, I got through that. So the 𝐶𝑍R fob was $12 and the JK's cross stitch supply haul was $95.80. And so from that, I had $30.82 left, and because now it's October, I get another $50. So I'm at $80.82. Yeah. There's only like $8 difference between last time when you heard about my hobby budget and this time, so not much has changed. Okay, and now let's talk about whips. Now, I've only worked on 3 things in 6 weeks, so now you see why there's not that much to show. So I will show you the first thing I worked on. It is my focus piece for the whole year. It is called Bunnies, or wreath, bunnies, whatever you want to call it. It's like 2 bunnies in a wreath. So I'll just put the preview here because it's a PDF chart. It is from Light Unicorn Designs on Etsy. I think she does a lot of like watercolors, wreaths, patterns, all sorts. So if you're interested in that, then you can check it out. And so this one is or will be a gift for a friend who designed this channel logos for JP and I. And she also painted Amy, who was our very first greyhound and unfortunately has passed away since. And yeah, she painted, I guess, like not a mural, but sort of like a portrait for Amy, and it's hung like just at the entry in our house. So I thought it would be nice to stitch something for her bunnies. She has 2 and they're senior bunnies. I think they're over 10 years old. The goal is to finish it by the end of the year and also frame it, and then I can gift it to her. Luckily, she lives not too far away from us, so hopefully I can get it done before Christmas so we can go visit and give it to her. That's a lot of rambling. And I also found out when I actually started on the project, I thought this would be the oldest whip yet after I've UFO'd some stuff, but it's not, actually. I started it on, is it in November in 2022? I'll put the exact date here somewhere. Anyway, so I stitched it on 16 count Aida, hand dyed Aida by Paddock Lane Design. And I'll put it. Okay, so it's not as transparent. That's what it looks like. So it is called Blue Sky. And there should be a comparison photo on the other side. And I will get it closer to you. If it looks wrinkly, it's because I use hoops to stitch and I don't take the project out of hoops very often, so it tends to get very wrinkly, and I don't pre-iron my projects for videos. Don't have enough time to stitch already, so I don't have time to prep that. There it is. And then I can give you some statistics, I guess. So, with this one, I stitched 8 days and altogether 13.5 hours. And so the last day I was stitching it was on 17th of September. So it's almost like 50% of days I was stitching, the other 50% I wasn't. So last time when you saw it, it was at 86.97%, and now I'm at 90.94%. And I stitched 1,555 stitches. Yeah, I was really hoping I could get more done. So this month and next month, I won't feel so pressured to like really rush it. But unfortunately, not as much as I'd like. So yeah. I am really close to finishing the 5th page. And I think once I completely mark off that page, the percentage will get bumped up a bit more, just because the chart isn't very compatible with Markup RXP. So somehow it's like picking up the random like blank spots as well, and that kind of adds to the number of stitches that need to be completed. Yeah, so once I mark the whole page off, it should improve the percentage a bit. And that's it. There's not that much to say about it. I just really want to get it done so I can, you know, think about how to finish it. Now, the initial thought is to literally finish it in a hoop because it's pretty much like a circle. I think it's like 200 by 202, so like really close to a circle anyway. So a hoop will be nice. And I also have the previous set of like a display rack that I bought from Amazon, so I could just like plonk it on and that will look quite nice. Yeah, so that's the first thing I worked on. And the second thing was spring will come. Wow. I kept saying I would work on it and months passed, nothing was done. But yeah, in September I finally worked on it. So it is an Artecy chart. It is my one and only Artecy chart for now. The artist was Vitas, and yeah, I'll just show you the preview here. What can I say? Not much to show, really. I'll just show you the progress, I guess, and then we can talk about the numbers again. Now, this is the project that I stitched with the Lowry stand setup just because it's quite large. And it is on quantum frame scroll bars as well. The scroll bar cover is by T.Zir Handmades, and all the details will be in the description box too. Same as the needle minders. They're from Ginger Stitch AU in Australia as well, and he does really nice like enamel needle minders. So yeah, this is where I'm up to, and I will put the previous, like what it looked like before, up there. Mind you, last time when you saw it, it was in April, so it's been a long time. And I'll get it closer. So pretty much I'm just stitching the sky and the big old moon. I think maybe the lady will start showing up here. And it's quite amazing that I think the end of the chart is possibly here. So I'm getting, like, I'm really approaching it. So far, like, it's boring to stitch, you know, 50 shades of white and cream, but it's not too bad just because I'm dancing between, you know, completing this area slowly and the blue. And that kind of keeps me a bit more entertained. And this is just, I guess, routinely working my way through. Can I tell you anything else? Yeah, I think that's it. I feel like I finished 2 pages, maybe? I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to complete this one. The 3rd one, maybe? And what can I tell you? Let me just pop it down. Oops. Okay. Now for Spring Will Come, I worked on it for 6 days. So 5 days in September and 1 day in October. So in the whole September, I just worked on 2 things, Bunnies and Spring Will Come. And altogether, I worked just over 12.5 hours. I stitched 1,301 stitches. So pretty much 1,300 stitches, really. And last time when you saw it in April, it was 14.3%. And now it's at 16.33%. So did about 2%. And what did I write? Yeah, I think all the things I wanted to say about the project has been said. Oh, so last time when I saw you, I said, oh, because there's the Mid-Autumn Festival in September, I really wanted to work on like Chinese themed projects. I didn't even end up stitching on that day. I think I stitched the day after. So that was a shame. I was really hoping to work on like Lantern Festival as well, but by the time I was thinking about stopping on this one and starting another one, I just didn't make enough progress for me to feel like I could switch. So I just ended up sticking to this one. Okay, so that's the 2nd project. And the 3rd one was a new start. So, and that's the project I decided to like kit up with my JK's cross stitch supply haul as well. I actually bought the chart last time when I did my cross stitch update. So it was the D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons chart. Last time when I like talked about the series of charts I actually forgot to say that I wanted to make them into like dice pouches. And another thing to note is I don't know how to sew. So for me, that'll be a big challenge. And if you know there's a really good or really relevant tutorial that I should watch, just tell me or like link me up. Because a lot of the tutorials that I can find are all like sewing related rather than like cross-stitched ones. The plan is to literally just use the cross-stitch fabric to make a pouch. I haven't decided whether to put like interfacing or not. I just don't want the dice pouches to be too stiff. But it will be a good idea because it will cover the backing of the cross stitch. Anyway, so the reason why I decided to start was I asked JP like how long this campaign would last. And he told me altogether will be like 15 sessions. And I was like, hang on, we've already done 4 sessions. So that means I have less than 1 year to do the whole thing. Lucky there were only 2 other players in the campaign. But that's not a lot of time if I worry about like the finishing of the project. So like, I thought I really need to get a move on or understand how I want to finish them as pouches. So yeah, I decided to use JP's dice pouch as like a guinea pig just to try on. So I worked out, okay, I want the fabric to be red because red dice pouch can look really cool. And that's enough rambling. Let's just show you the preview here. So it's a Dungeon Master chart. What else can I say? So yeah, I've decided to do 2/1 on Christmas red 25 count Lugana. And I also decided not to do the Dungeon Master words. So all of the wording stitches have been marked off. And this is what it looks like. Can I put something behind it? Like this. What can I say? It is quite a small chart. So now if you see the preview, technically there are 2 different shades of blue in this castle. Unfortunately, I just didn't really think. So the 2 shades of blue don't really have that much difference. They actually look a bit more different on camera, but in real life you could barely tell. Do I have the threads here? So if you're thinking about stitching this one and you have like a darker shade of fabric, I really recommend you changing 1 shade of blue. So yeah, I think the red probably didn't help with the samey tones in the blues either. But everything else really pops. Yeah, it looks really nice. 2/1 does make the color pop, and it's so full that you can't see, you know, any fabrics, really. But it's not a very smooth stitching experience. The stitches are really tight, and sometimes I did have trouble like trying to pull my needles through. Luckily it's a small project, so it's not too bad. But if it's big, I can't imagine. I think it's possibly like my stitches too. They're probably not tight enough. If you have very tight stitches, you might be able to get away with it. Otherwise, yeah, it is real pain in the bum. Yeah, the fabric is quite sheer, so it might be nice to put like an interfacing or some kind of thing at the back so it doesn't show. So far, so I worked on this one for 5 days, almost 8 hours, and a couple of days were just like in the morning for like 10-15 minutes. And altogether I did 985 stitches. And I told you I marked off all the wording. So all the black down there for Dungeon Master was 721 stitches. So because of that, the moment I marked them off, the percentage jumped up to like 40%, which was really cool. I never had like that kind of satisfaction. So now I'm at 77.09% for this. And yeah, I think starting this one really like imbued this new enthusiasm in me to stitch. And normally there's always like a debate of, oh, you know, tonight, should I play game with JP or should I stitch? And sometimes it's always like, I prefer gaming, but there's not a lot of time for gaming, so I have to stitch. So then I get disappointed because I prefer gaming instead. But with this project, it's like, oh, no gaming? Fine, I'll just stitch on this instead. I'm very happy to do so. So that's a really nice experience. What else can I tell you? Not much with this anymore. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's all I've worked on this 6 weeks. It's not a lot of time, is it? Altogether, I stitched for less than 20 days. So yeah, not a lot of progress. Pretty disappointing in the progress, but it is what it is. Okay, now we can talk about plans. There's a lot of stuff here, I think. So October is my birthday month and I'm turning 32. So because, you know, it's my birthday month, I think other than bunnies, I'm gonna stitch whatever I want. I'm not sure whether I could finish this, but I really do want to. I'm also thinking about, instead of stitching Dungeon Master, to stitch JP instead. So then I have to work out like the position of the letters and yeah, like how to chart the letters as well to make it not too cutesy, because this pattern is not super cute. It's supposed to be like cool. So that's that. And then I know I kept promising there was going to be a Stitch With Me video. I have not. Partially because I was busy and I wasn't stitching enough already. But partially is like I wasn't sure which project I wanted to film. And also I have this idea of like, rather than doing a traditional Stitch With Me videos where you don't see my face at all, you just, all you see is the bit where I stitch, not even like the whole project sometimes, depending on how big the area is. What if I just film myself literally like stitching like this? Because for like the cross stitch meetup, that's what you do, isn't it? You hear someone talk and you just literally see the person stitching. And if there's something to note, I can always stop and just show you like this. And then I can just ramble sort of almost like in person to you and stitching at the same time. So I thought that might be an interesting type of view for you to see. Because I don't know, like how much technique related information could you get from a Stitch With Me video, really? I don't know, and there's a lot of the time there's not a lot to see. So yeah, let me know whether that's something you might be interested in seeing. So maybe I can arrange it sometime this month, because I do have a couple of extra days off for my birthday and the wedding anniversary. And also I did mention the floor stands here, and I haven't opened it. It's because I want to make a video on that from the opening of the package to actually the experience of using it. So I want to make a very comprehensive video on that, just because it's a big purchase and if you are thinking about making such purchase, you probably want to know everything there is to know if possible. So I thought that would be a pretty useful video. And it seems like, because most of the review type of videos were done on the previous channel, which is like which used to be a channel I co-owned with JP, and now it's completely his. And those videos did really well. So I'm thinking maybe I'm a pretty good reviewer, and people find the videos helpful. I don't know. So I'm always happy to like provide useful information when I can. So I want, like, my expectation of how good the video should be is like up here. So I need to work hard to get that perfected. And also, in terms of the next cross-stitch update video, I think it really depends on how much I can stitch in for the next like 3 weeks or so. If I get a lot of stitching time, I might do one at the end of the month or roughly around there. If not, you might see me like at the end of November or something. So it'll be another 6 weeks or so. Yeah, it really depends. Maybe I'll feel really inspired to make this video at the end of this month because I got so much done and blah blah blah. So we'll see. And now, have you heard of this like full coverage chart company called Unconventional Cross Stitch at all? It's an Australian charting company. I think she's in Perth. I'm not sure. Now, recently, her house had a electrical fault, I think, that caused a huge fire. So her house has been burnt down, and she used her house as almost like a warehouse situation to store all her like cross-stitch related stock, and they're all burned down as well, and all the equipments to kit up her stuff. I mean, that sucks, really, to think you're like homeless for the next don't know how long, and also your business is in shambles. I kept saying I don't need more charts, which is true. Like, I kept like remembering, oh no, I have this huge ass chart. Oh, I have another one that's like full coverage. But I do want to help. So I'm thinking about getting maybe 2 charts from the company. Now, I've never bought anything from her. I think Jody is her name. I'll link her like website in the description box as well. Her charts, a lot of them tend to be quite dark, quirky. Some of them are like, what is it? Macabre. And some of them have like nudity as well. So like if you're into kind of gothic or not, I don't want to say weird, but like indie things, yeah, check it out. Now, bear in mind, a lot of the actual like items are not available anymore because they've been burnt down, or they've been, yeah. So I am tossing between, or among, not between, among a couple of charts, and I might just put them here. You can have a look and maybe you can help me choose. I sort of have an idea. I just haven't made the decision yet because one of them that I'm most interested in is so big. It is like 900 by 700 or something. It's massive. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's one called A Cozy Evening. One called Herbalist Helper. There's one called maybe High Summer. And another one I was thinking about doing, but now probably not. But I'll show it to you here as well. I think it's like Rise of the Phoenix. Which one did I? There's also like Unexpected Egg. So 5 charts here. Yeah, let me know which one you like the most, or which 2 in the description, in the comment down below. So that's something I need to make a decision on, and also haven't decided whether I need to deduct it from my hobby budget, just because technically it's not like purely for me. It's kind of helping her in a way. So yeah, I need to figure it out on that as well. Then I've talked about no buy next year because I really need to focus more on what I've got right now. And I think I am going ahead with it. But under that video, some people gave me really good advice on maybe I should like have some leniency on like the situations where, you know, there's a really rare thing and I just really, really want it. And if I miss the opportunity, it might never come back anymore. So I think I might give myself 3 chances for that kind of circumstances. And then the other like exception would be if I need to buy something for a gift, because that's not really for me. That's like a nice gesture as well, and that's that kind of situation just comes up. So yeah, that's Rex, by the way, and I'm definitely gonna attempt this no buy next year thing. So that is no new charts or kits, accessories and things to kit up the charts that I've got are okay, and see how I go. And then I have also decided in terms of my whip count. Now, currently I have 10 whips, and I've always said I want to control it at 10. And I actually didn't want to approach 10 at all. I just want to like reduce it if possible. But now I think I've decided to like tweak it a little bit. So this might not happen this year. I want to start it maybe from next year, or at least after I finish Bunnies. So I want to make the 10 whip count limited to my own projects, like the things I'm stitching for my own pleasure. All the gifts will be excluded. So that kind of gives me an opportunity to get to more projects, and also at the same time do not limit me to stitch for other people. And of course, if there's something that's time sensitive, I will mainly focus on that. But at least this will give me more opportunity to like start stitching my stash. Yeah, so that's what I've decided as well. So that's like the whole stitching related plans and whatnot. And I'm gonna talk about life updates now. So if you're not interested, then I'll bid you goodbye here. Otherwise, let's get like personal here. Okay, so I've done my CPD points now, but I haven't done my tax this year, and there are quite a lot of like paperwork related things I need to get to this month. So I need to get that finished. Now, normally I'm pretty good at like finalizing my tax on the earlier side, but because I've got a rental property and like it's, if you know like investment sort of thing, it's not like negative gearing either. So technically I probably need to pay more rather than get more back. So I'm kind of delaying my tax thing. But yeah, I need to get it done, and I need to push JP to get it done as well. And he's like ultra lazy with these things. So yeah, we need to finalize those. And I'm not sure whether I've mentioned this before, but like Victoria at least had a few really like extremely windy episodes, and like one side of our fence, like the cap bit broke, so like that bit of the fence like sagged a little bit, plus the fence was like really old. It probably came with a house, so it could have been like 20 years old, I don't know. The quality was definitely not great. So JP's like, nah, let's just change it. And also because, you know, weather could get really bad really quick. So you never know, maybe the next windy day would be the final blow and the whole thing could just sag. So yeah, we got the fencing done. It was like 16 meters of wooden fence, and that's like $3,500. I mean, fencing is always so expensive. Yeah, last time when we had to get the fencing done, it was like when it was super hot. It was like a heat wave and the person was dying. And it was supposed to get done in 2 days, but there were a couple of really extreme heat days in between. So it took about almost a week to get done. And when you have dogs, it is really difficult, especially greyhounds, that like can't be off leash. So yeah, but this time the fence was done in 2 days, so that was really good. And the new fence was sturdy. It was concreted. It had like the metal beam with like concrete inside, so that should last us at least like solid 10 years. So at least something good came out of it. And then yeah, Rocket recently is really limping. Now Rocket is the smaller greyhound with like kind of grey salt and pepper face. He has like sustained injuries from his racing days, and I think one of his stopper joint was shattered and had to get operated on. And supposedly he was like fully recovered from that, but we suspected there was arthritis from that. So that, I think that was in his right front wrist, but recently he started limping on the left. So we suspected it was corn, and so we took both boys to the vet for their like annual vaccination, plus checking out Rocket's like little paw pad. The vet said maybe it's corn. So yeah, we've just been trying to like soak it and send it down a little bit when we can, and to see whether that will alleviate the pain. Sometimes he's really keen to go out, especially during the morning. So he was still limping, but it didn't like deter him very much from walking. But yeah, it's the night ones. Sometimes he would skip. Maybe it's just because he's too sore. And we also found that he's gained weight, maybe because he's not exercising as much. So we're trying to give him less food to hopefully let him shed a little bit of the extra weight. And he hasn't complained too much. I mean, he's getting still the same variety, just not as much for like some of the things. And boom, 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 boom. What else? Oh, so I think I've mentioned like a couple times, there is going to be a stitching retreat start of November. And it's organized by our monthly meetup group. So yeah, it's gonna happen in like 4 weeks or something. And we just did our working bee day on a Sunday to like pack things up. Let's just say I didn't expect so much would be involved, because you need to like put everything in goodie bags, you need to pack things up, especially like the prizes and whatnot. So I thought we would just stay there for like 2-3 hours, but it ended up being 4.5 hours. And there's still, I think, quite a lot to be finalized. But that's gonna be one awesome bag, can I just say. I think it's gonna be quite exciting. Especially this retreat will be like partially catered. So originally I was just gonna take Friday off. So the retreat was from Friday to will be from Friday to Sunday. But after seeing the Friday is gonna be like a 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. situation, I'm like, nah, mate, I'm not gonna be able to like sustain doing that on the weekend and then going back to work straight away on the Monday. So I got Monday off as well. What can I tell you? I can't show you anything clearly. I can only say I hope it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I think for now, sticking to one retreat a year is a good decision for me. Because yeah, I'm not the most like extroverted person. And a lot of the time, like I don't know how to start and sustain a conversation. So, but also like I want to do different things as well. So like just dipping my toe in it and then take it out, it's probably a good kind of option for me. And also, can I just say, like, cross stitch has evolved to a point where, like, if you, how do I say this? It's like a solid community and everyone's happy to like create this stitching environment for other people. So if you really want to do as many stitching retreat as you can in Australia, like within the country, you could probably find one every month and just fly around if you want. There are like so many, and there's even like a cross stitch cruise now. Like how crazy is that? So yeah. I guess that's all for stitching retreat related stuff. I am hoping to be able to film like a little retreat video either by itself as a standalone or like to insert in like one of the stitching updates. But it's the like approaching people bit that I'm really worried about. So I don't know how that's gonna work on the day. But yeah, I hope I'll be able to film some good stuff, like what happens on the day, some vendors, people's goodies, and also what they're stitching on and how much fun they're having as well. So that will be amazing. And also, I have looked into like Pilates. So recently I'm always struggling with my appearance and my weight. It's like a very Asian thing to be very dissatisfied about how your body looks, how your face looks. And recently it's been like, I guess, worse. I feel very pudgy and feel very unfit. And sometimes like when I go up a slope, I feel quite like out of breath as well. So I kind of want to get hold of my lifestyle situation. So I want to be healthier. So I want to, like, from next week, stop like the weekday late snacking. If I do want to snack, it will be like a little bit of fruit and nuts. And then there are like cheat days on the weekend, of course, especially if there's like D&D sessions. We always snack on kind of like high energy things to sustain us until we can get a full meal. And yeah, so I've been looking into Pilates. I thought Pilates is kind of like yoga. You have to be very flexible. And I mean, it might be hard to imagine, but I have the flexibility of like a typical old lady. I'm like really inflexible. It's insane. So I never thought about doing it until I think I watched like K-pop idols doing Pilates, and apparently it helps with your posture as well. And after I looked into it, it also might help with like aches and pains, just because like it adjusts or something, like, because it's not a lot of weight and pressure on your body. You pretty much use your own weight to do different types of exercise. So I want to try it out maybe in the next month or so. Want to give it a go, but I have a lot of like, not anxiety, it's quite daunting to try something new, especially like you don't know whether you're going to be that person that stumble the whole way through and like not able to complete any moves. So, but I really want to like get healthier. Sometimes it's not just about losing weight as well. It's about like feeling healthy and feeling like you've accomplished something and feeling more confident with your body through doing something about it. And I recently met like, so like, you know, you have different friend groups, and this, like, sometimes I would meet up with this colleague and the colleague's wife. So like, she was doing Pilates as well, and she said she felt great after she started regularly doing it. And she said it's a lot of the time not about losing weight either. It's just about, you know, like, oh, I've finally done something to address a situation and I feel great about it because I'm all about actions, you know? So I want to do that. I mean, if there's any like change, I'll let you know. But I think I've found a place that's close enough to me, and quite nice, and has the option of like slow, if you want to go slow, and like at okay price. So wish me luck. Hopefully, yeah, I get to report in the next month or so on like whether I've tried it, or if I did, how it went. And yeah, like I said, October is my birthday month and is also our wedding anniversary. So we will have been married for 7 years. Yeah, my mom was asking, oh, is there like some big plans? Are you going anywhere like for like traveling purposes? And I said, nah, we've just planned a couple of like fancy restaurants. So yeah, there are a few feasts to be had, and I'll see how I go. I might end up doing like a little vlog as well with like a little bit of stitching in between. And before my birthday, I've booked like a hair appointment because it doesn't show as much here, but like yeah, the gray hair situation is, you know, coming back. So I want to go lighter, maybe in the roots, in hope of like blending the gray hair growth with the highlighted bits. So we'll see how that goes. And I've also got the nail appointment scheduled for my birthday as well, and a couple of different things. So hopefully it's gonna be like a killer like week or so. What else? Oh, and in terms of like what we've been doing, so like I think I started watching Critical Role, and if you're like into D&D, you probably would definitely know their existence. It's this like OG group of people, well, group of like voice actors doing Dungeons and Dragons, and like streaming the whole campaign as well. And I think they have made their campaign now into a Prime series, like an animation thing called Vox Machina. And yeah, I've started watching their like third campaign, and for now I'm really enjoying it, just because they really like, they're good at their like role play, because you know they can do the accents, they can do the what's the word, like improv as well, and the dungeon master's really good at coming up with descriptions and sort of giving you the feel of like different NPCs. They sound different, they look different, stuff like that. So I'm like getting into it more. I mean, a lot of you probably don't really care, but like in terms of this campaign, I am a gold dragonborn paladin, with a really sad backstory, and we're doing this like Strahd campaign, which is in like a world full of vampires, so it's more on the scary side. And like for a person from a background of like, how do I say this? So because I grew up in China, there's not a lot of development in like hobbies, interest, or imagination. So I find role playing quite difficult, especially you really need to get into your zone and also like think what your character would say. So I guess it's a clever choice that I chose a character that like doesn't talk much, but I'm really jealous of people who can just, you know, like talk so fluently without like so much effort. So yeah, I'm getting more into Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like looking into this whole like, oh, how do we, you know, set up this like, not dungeon, but like the environment sort of campaign, like what the fight scenes would look like. So that's quite fun, and we have been steadily doing pretty much once a month. And because I'm getting into it, that's why I want to do this dice pouch. And I've chosen the charts according to like the other two people's class as well. That's why I need to get it done, because to make it relevant, it has to be within this campaign. Originally, I was thinking I would just like stitch the characters' names. So my character is called Emerus, Emerus Ruby Gold, and we've got Tully, who is a ranger, and an artificer called Blythe. So yeah, originally I was thinking about like stitching the characters' names, but now I'm thinking maybe I'll just stitch the person's name instead. So if for some reason I couldn't get them done within this campaign, at least they can still use it for their dice. So that's possibly too much Dungeons and Dragons talk for this video, but yeah, that's what I've been into the last maybe 2 weeks. I started watching their videos from 2 weeks ago, probably. Yeah, I guess that's all I want to share with you, or all I can think of. Have I missed anything? I hope I haven't. If you've got any questions, or if you want to say anything to me, just comment in the description. Stop saying description. Comment in the comment section down below. And I've got an Instagram as well. I was readily updating it for a little bit, so I was doing a really good job, and then September hit and I didn't stitch that much, and then the post just stopped. But these days I tend to do like the weekly stories. So JB and I really like our weekly like coffee or brunch date on the weekend. So I tend to do that kind of story just to see, I don't want to date again. There's the coffee and then there's the food. Just to like, entertain us and you. So yeah, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I think that's it. And I'm hungry, so my brain's not working very well. And yeah, I need to probably take the dogs out when it's still sunny and nice. And let me know which charts you're interested in among those 5, okay? And that's it. I will see you in the next video, whatever it may be. Bye!